We were gone for quite a while. But no matter what happens next, the galaxy still needs its guardians.
Hello, we come in peace.
Come on, Drax. Seriously, dude?
No! Ow!
Don't forget where we came from.
We have been running our whole lives.
Pete, I'm done running. We'll all fly away together. One last time. Into the forever and beautiful sky.
And we'll kill anyone who gets in our way.
No, not kill anyone.
Kill a few people.
Kill no people.
Kill one guy, one stupid guy who no one loves.
Now you're just making it sad.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer video. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs and references, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Marvel is releasing a bunch of footage because of CCXP Brazil Comic Con this week. There was also brand new footage for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, a bunch of new Kang footage, so there's a bunch of stuff to talk about. Obviously, the really big takeaways here is that we get our first look at Adam Warlock in the flesh with the gem in his forehead. I know there's lots of questions about the Infinity Stone because he had the Soul Stone in the comics. That's not meant to be the Soul Stone. Thanos atomized this universe's version of the Infinity Stones. Even though there was a lot of time travel, Steve Rogers' Captain America took the Infinity Stones back in time to where they stole them from, so in present day, they're still atomized. Chuck Woody Iwuji is playing the High Evolutionary. He's the main villain of the film. He's the person who created Rocket. He's also the person responsible for creating that weird-looking version of the United States with all the other humanoid-looking animals, kind of like Rocket. Like they're meant to be creations of his, experiments of his, kind of like Rocket was. That's why it looks like the Earth, but this is meant to be a foreign planet. We see the bigger version of Groot have his Hulk out moment. We are Groot. He says it again. James Gunn also clarified what's going on with this version of Groot and why he's fundamentally different from the previous version of Groot, the full-size Groot that we saw in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. But just starting at the beginning of the trailer footage, we'll work our way through shot by shot, talking about Easter eggs, WTF moments. Obviously, they start with the logo. The custom Marvel Studios logo for this is meant to be like the wood grain of Peter Quill's tape player in the first movie. Typically, the music in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies started in the early to mid-70s and then slowly through the films kind of worked its way to the late 70s. The song that's playing in this trailer is In the Meantime by Space Hog. The funny thing about that song, though, is that that one is from the 90s, so I don't know if James Gunn is just allowing its use for the trailer or if it's actually used in the movie itself, because typically the movies are just 70s music. We actually saw the new Guardians of the Galaxy ship debut during the holiday special recently. I did a whole video for that, so I'll link it down in the description below. It's called the Bowie, named after David Bowie, because Peter Quill names all their spaceships after pop stars. The other very clear thing is that they're wearing comic book accurate suits to the Annihilation Conquest run. That's the run where this version of the Guardians of the Galaxy team came together for the first time. Even though this looks like Earth, it's meant to be an experiment that the High Evolutionary is running, which is why even though it looks like this American suburb, it's a bunch of humanoid-looking aliens. This is flashbacks of Rocket's origin story with the High Evolutionary reaching his hand into Rocket's cage when he was this little tiny raccoon, turning him into this humanoid creation, giving him the ability to talk, walk around on two legs. James Gunn said that the third film is mostly about Rocket, like he's one of the main characters within the ensemble, so that's why the High Evolutionary is the main villain. The Guardians of the Galaxy movies are all about bad space dads, and the High Evolutionary is like Rocket's bad space dad. As the Guardians are leaving their ship to jump down to the High Evolutionary's planet here, which looks kind of like Ego the Living Planet, like this organic-looking structure, notice that the colors of their spacesuits look like the colors of the Infinity Stones. This is the 2014 version of Gamora. There was a bunch of footage in the D23 version of the trailer that they didn't include in this, where Peter Quill is meeting her for the first time again after a big long break and realizing that she is now the person who is in charge of the Ravagers. Like, she went full Thanos, taking over the Ravagers. That's why she's wearing the Ravagers uniform here, but she's fundamentally a different person from the previous Gamora because she didn't go through any of the experiences that Gamora went through. The picture she's looking at is a picture of her and Peter Quill together, the previous version of Gamora, and he's trying to win her back to the team, trying to get her to fall in love with him again. A big part of the movie is Nebula kind of being the one to pull her around. The whole idea in the first two films is that Gamora tries to be the one to win Nebula over to get her to chill out. This time it's Nebula doing that for this version of Gamora. They had a little bit of that during Avengers Endgame, where Nebula was telling her, no, you don't have to be like this. Our father is terrible. Thanos isn't going to help you. Because Thanos very literally sacrificed her to get the Soul Stone. I think this is meant to be them back on nowhere. What James Gunn explained is that during the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, when things pick up, they've purchased Nowhere, like they bought the entire head of this dead Celestial from the Collector, which confirms that he survived Avengers Infinity War. Thanos basically destroyed most of that place, so I think we all thought that he died after Infinity War came out, but this just confirms that he's alive out there. The Elders of the Universe are very hard to kill. You also notice that Cosmo the Space Dog is also with them. They confirmed during the holiday special as well that Cosmo the Space Dog going to be a much bigger character during this. She'll be voiced by Maria Bakalova.
What?
I refuse to do any more work while you demean me.
All right. I'm sorry.
Kraglin's still a big part of the team. Also, the joke here is that Nebula is carrying Peter Quill, Princess carrying him like he's been knocked out somehow. One of the big things about Nebula during this movie is that she's become much more of a leader within the team, like a more well-adjusted person just in general. Even though they have the big joke about her stealing Bucky's vibranium arm to give it to Rocket. He said the way that she got that is she literally just ripped it right off of his body because she knew that Rocket wanted it. She didn't sleep with him or didn't have a relationship with him or anything like that or trick him. Like, she literally just showed up, ripped it right off of him, and took back off to nowhere. I assume at some point they'll bring it back to him because he's going to be in the Thunderbolts movie, probably in Captain America 4. Like, he's going to need that vibranium arm. Rocket telling them that he's done running with all this damage around them is him just wanting to go after the High Evolutionary, not running from him anymore, because he's meant to be crazy powerful. It's sort of the same vibe as Peter Quill going up against his father, Ego the Living Planet. This is a much better look at the High Evolutionary's home base. It's meant to be the MCU version of Half-World where Rocket comes from. There was an Easter egg for it in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Notice how it looks a lot like Ego the Living Planet, and it is very organic. If you couldn't tell, it's basically like the hollowed out body of a former giant celestial being, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's some celestial connection to this. Like, it's meant to be a parallel for the Guardians taking over Nowhere, which is the head of a dead celestial. They've been living inside using the body of this giant dead celestial. The High Evolutionary has been doing the same thing. Post all your theories in the comments though. What giant space creature was this? This is just Chukwudi Iwuji as the High Evolutionary performing more experiments on his creations. His whole thing is that he's trying to create the perfect being. The funny thing about Adam Warlock is that he's meant to be the perfect creation. But he was created by the Sovereign to kill the Guardians of the Galaxy, so it'll be interesting to see the interaction between him and the High Evolutionary in this film, because if you remember in the comics, the High Evolutionary is the person that upgraded Adam Warlock in the comics and gave him the Soul Gem. So even though the Soul Gem doesn't exist anymore in present day, like it's atomized, I wouldn't be surprised if the High Evolutionary does something similar or has some Easter egg connection with Adam Warlock during this film. This is the Guardians of the Galaxy on Half-World. Gamora is with them at this point. Them being in the jumpsuits there is also meant to be a parallel for them in the prison jumpsuits during the first movie. All the scenes of Rocket during the trailer are starting to make me worried for his character, because it sounds like he might wind up being the one to sacrifice himself during the movie. The talking otter that Rocket is hugging is Lila, his girlfriend in the comics. There was a rumor about Lady Gaga voicing this character, so I wonder if that's actually going to wind up being true, because we don't hear the otter speak in the trailer. But she's meant to be one of the other creations of the High Evolutionary. It sounds like Rocket has some kind of relationship with her at some point. Big callback to Guardians of the Galaxy 2, this is the same type of alien that they attacked at the beginning of Guardians 2. This might be connected to when they face Adam Warlock for the first time in the Sovereign's domain, just because this type of alien was always showing up to try and eat their batteries. We see Will Poulter as Adam Warlock. It looks like they're back on Nowhere or somewhere similar. He's meant to be super powerful in the comics. He's kind of like Marvel's version of Space Jesus. We'll see how they treat that in the MCU, but obviously he's probably going to be a big character going forward. Like, this won't be the last time you see Adam Warlock in a space-based movie. Even though this is meant to be the last movie with this roster of the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is why I say that some of them might wind up dying. Some of them might retire or go off on their own, but they will continue, like the Guardians of the Galaxy will continue with a new roster. Adam Warlock did join the team during the Annihilation Conquest run where they wore these very same costumes, so it is possible that he winds up joining this version of the team. This is meant to be an homage to that shot from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie where the entire team is walking down the hallway with Groot saying, "We are Groot," like he did in the first film. But the idea is that this version of Groot looks different from the original Groot because he's meant to be the child of that Groot. James Gunn confirmed that he's basically like that Groot's child, which is why he sounds just a little bit different. It's still Vin Diesel, but he sounds just a little different and he looks a little different. And this version of Groot is meant to be much more socialized, having grown up, which is why his personality seems so different from that original Groot. Like he's so much more outgoing than original Groot. This is sort of like Groot's Hulk out moment. And of course they have a post-credit scene for the trailer. This post-credit scene is just Drax yelling about wanting to kill people and Peter Quill trying to stop that. Like, no, we don't want to kill people. There's a bunch of extra footage that was in the D23 trailer that they didn't put in this, so I'll link my other video for that down in the description below and at the end of this. But they also released an Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer video. I'll do a video for that next, so be sure to subscribe to get that. Everyone click here for that video. I'll update the link as soon as I post it. And click here for that other Guardians of the Galaxy trailer video and Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.